Today on Awaken and Ascend, Deva Peruman joins us from South Island, New Zealand, to share how you can embrace your true light, your inner hero. Deva's contribution to healing the consciousness of the world comes through his ability to listen. His aim is to bring healing to people who have been through a traumatic or any kind of stressful experience. He offers his clients, who include children, adults, and couples, an opportunity to find healthy perceptions of themselves and strengthen their relationships so they can know themselves as peaceful, complete, whole, and safe. As a holistic coach and speaker and counselor for the past 12 years, Davis strongly believes that no single approach is the right one for all or every one individual. And so he has been trained in various modalities to better equip himself to bring healing to you. I am Jennifer Regular, your host, and so excited to welcome you, Deva. So grateful that you're here.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me. I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Yes, me too. Me too. And I know your practice is around the hero's mystic. And I'd love to hear the inspiration that came for that, and also what lit your path to lead to this practice.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I've been looking forward to that. Secondly, is I feel that everyone we go through the hero's journey, just like Joseph Campbell book, about the hero's journey. And the and since I was a kid, I love heroes, superheroes, and I felt like we all have that hero within us, that power within us that we think like it's external, but rather it's internal. That power to change, that power to forgive, that power to love. It's all within us, and the name like Mystic, as you can see, it's written like it finishes with a K instead of a C. So it's written in my Mauritian language, which because I'm initially come from Mauritius,
Mm.
so it's a tribute to my from where I come from as well. So it's written in Mauritian Creole, and it's you will see it has a French accent as well to it. Uh, but it's how it's written. But mysticism is that spiritual side that I found that we it's not we have to connect, but we are already connected to the source, and it's to awaken that source within to really know our true power, because it's I think Marianne Williamson who says like it's not of the darkness that we fear, but it's the light. It's
Mm.
in those lines. I'm not quoting her like directly, but it's in those lines. It's of our light, our true power that we are scared of. And for me, when I reflected, because I started my journey in psychology and counseling 12, well, now 13 years ago. And then 5 years ago, I started my holistic life coaching business. And I was thinking, oh, what name, what name, what name? And then that's when I went back to my roots, like to Mauritius, to my childhood, what I like, what I didn't like. And that's when I discovered that Heroes Mystic came into place. But
Mm.
there's a lot going on in the logo as well, as you can see. Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get it right. Yeah, but in the logo as well, there are several broken pieces, which means like we can feel broken, yet we can be one.
Mm.
And there's always a way out. If you see there's an arrow showing the way out, but it's to tell you to think outside of the box, never stay in the box. And that's so there's a lot of thoughts that went into the logo and the name as well. So that's just a brief story of how it came through. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that. And so, how do we become conscious of our inner hero?
Um, for me, I start with like we must face our demons. Like that's how I put it. Like we must not run away from it. If we want to, because every time we have moved into that movement of positive psychology, like think positive, use your affirmation, visualization. But if we don't acknowledge the darkness, the dark moment, the dark spaces that we go in, we can't find the light.
Yeah.
But it's only in the, like, when there's darkness, then you can find that inner light, that light within you, that power within you that I speak about before. Because if first for me is like face the demons, know your demons, whatever they are. And by demons I mean like I mean like negative, um things you want to improve. It's not your failures. There are never failures. There's only learning in our failures, because people feel like, oh, I'm not getting this right, and it's only about learning. I'm just connecting, like, just yesterday. By the time you will listen to that, it will be like 2 weeks ago that I had my karate grading. And in the training, our sensei said, like, there will be no failure. It's only improvement, where you can improve. And I feel that's how we should view failures,
Mm.
you know. And once you write, for me it's like writing is the major thing, like journaling. But if you don't like to write, I know people who doesn't like to write, like some of my clients, and I say, like, you like to talk, you like to speak, right? Not
Mhm.
if you don't like to speak to anyone, speak to yourself. But you can record it if you want,
Mm.
right? This is what I don't want, this is what I don't like, and write it about yourself. And it's not to look at those negativities and say, oh, this is so bad. No, it's acknowledge, yes, this is where I need to improve.
Mm.
And what's my next step? Then you ask yourself, what's my next step? How can I improve? Maybe Google, maybe go and find an expert in that field. Maybe like connect with people like us, or like-minded people who can help us, because each of us, we have that expertise when we come in, that we can help each other, you know.
Mhm.
So I feel that if you ask what's the next best step for me,
Yes.
when you acknowledge that, and then you move on, like, the answer will come within, because we have that, I think, like Gabriel Bernstein, who has that audible call, we our own guru, something like that, your own guru.
Mm. Mhm.
And I feel that we have that inner teacher within us that can guide us to the next best person, or the next best book. It could be a book, like we heard so many stories, like book falling out. Uh,
Yes.
it
I've had
can't
that
help.
happen.
Like, it's just when you're thinking, what's the next best thing to do, and it just come out, and that's the source, that's the mystic thought that comes out, and it helps you to move forward, because your soul know better. But it's just our human mind gives the clutter,
Yes.
like it's cluttered, and we think of scenarios which 99.9 will never happen. 99.9% will never happen.
Mm.
But we just focus on that and create that, and we attract that, and then we say, see it happen. No, you created that.
Yeah, that's how we end up misusing or misplacing our power,
Yes.
and yeah, and mistake our power, right?
Yeah. And
The not the source that's fully aligned with truth. Yeah.
yeah, and I think, like, we use our power to create negative things sometimes.
Hmm.
And we are all like guilty of that, like we all do that, like, because we are still learning, we will still evolve. And um we think that there's a time frame, there's like a limit. But when you go deep within, you see how unlimited we are. Like, even if you just watch the space, like, it's full moon here.
Hmm.
So just by watching the space, the sky, you see how many stars are there, and
Yeah.
you're still counting, like, you know, like you can count and 1, 2, 3, like every night if you want, still you won't get it right because there's so many that you can't see yet. And
Mhm.
that's how we are. Like there's so many, like that hero within us come out in the darkest moment. I feel it come out in the darkest space when you feel like you want to give up, and that's your breakthrough.
Mm.
Break you, it's your breakthrough, you know.
Yeah, it's like that arrow that you're describing, and that can, in like in archery, right? Like you
Yeah,
aim, but you have to pull back to gain
yeah,
that momentum sometimes and reflect,
yeah.
right? And look at your target, look at where you're going, and then have
Mm,
that vision and let it go there. Yeah.
yeah, and surrender, you know, like that's the toughest for me. For me personally, that was the toughest lesson.
Yeah.
It's still at times surrender and have faith. And people always ask me, how can I let that go? You know, like how can I do that? Like it's so difficult. And I say, I know, I understand it's difficult, but
Yeah.
maybe like through breathing and maybe focusing on just doing like this sometimes. And maybe the next best thing is like do it again. And that's it. And maybe the next best is again a breath. And that's okay because you're doing your best in that moment.
Yes.
You know, like when you reflect back on your life, you were doing the best with the best knowledge you had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But people often mistook like when they are in that moment, they say, "Oh, it's like my life is over," but they forget that they have maybe 50, I don't know, like 50 years to go, or
Yeah.
70 years to go, or 40 years, or 30 years to go. There's more to come, but we focus in that moment and we get stuck. And it's like stuck in that, you know, like you're sinking in the sand. You know, like I get that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where when you focus on that inner source, that spiritual side of you,
Mm.
that's where the inner hero will bloom and pull you out. Because if you watch every single superhero movie, like they they always like get challenged. It's not an easy step, like it's not an easy task. They always get challenged, but their strength is that they believe in themselves, and even if they don't believe, they fake it. and and that's how they make it, you know, like they fake it until, yes, they know they have that inner power, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because when we think that we're faking it, we're actually tuning ourselves into what's real, what's authentic, and what's truth, right? But we think that we're
Yeah,
faking it because it just
yeah,
doesn't feel real or
yeah.
right, you know? But
It's like for me, like I always tell them, tell my clients, like if you speak to yourself like a friend, like a best friend, what would you tell them?
mm-hmm.
But without they knowing, they are aligning themselves with the best version of themselves,
Yeah.
with their source. Because if you dig deeper, it's with the source. That's You're not faking it at all, because that's your true potential, and there's more to it. You know, like I remember there was this person, because I'm into triathlon, all that kind of training, and there's one athlete that I follow called David Goggins. Well, he's a bit harsh in his language. He's a bit rude, but that's how people view it. Some people view it, but I like his work ethic. But in that sense, he say when you think you're tired, like I think it's a Navy SEAL mantra or something, like you're just 40% done. When you think you're tired, you're just 40%. What I see in that is like that's faking it in a way, but you're actually telling yourself you're unlimited.
Mm.
You can take it more, you can go deeper, the challenge that you have been given, you can handle it,
Yes.
or else you wouldn't. Because if you imagine your life, like if you were given any challenge that you're going through right now 10 years back,
Mm-hmm.
most likely you would have run the other way. But now when you're getting the challenge, you're like, no, I can, like deep within, you know you can face it.
Yes.
Just that scenario when you're not aligning with the source, when you're misaligned, like you go into that ego, your ego takes over, and then you forget. And it's like Wayne Dyer said, like we forget, we it's let God and not let the ego,
Yes.
let God in.
That's right. Because ego could be an acronym too for edging God out.
Yes,
Right? And what you're saying
exactly.
is let God in. And
Yeah.
it's similar to what you were saying about surrender too. Surrender is more soul centered, whereas control
Mhm.
is more ego centered, right? And
Yeah.
being
Yeah, go
able to
on.
release that control and surrender, there's a real softening that happens and allows things to come to you. It allows life to unfold for you and work for you.
Yeah, because when you reflect on your life, when you truly surrendered, like when you're at that point, oh, it's not going to happen. Like, forget it. Like, just, and that's when out of the blue on that day, like, let's say you were like waiting for money to come in, like, and you're not getting the money, you're like, oh, money, no. You're saying to yourself, oh, the money is not coming. The money is not coming. It won't come. It won't come. And then you're like, just forget it. And then the next hour or the next minute is like, ting, the money is in. And surrender, right? And
Let go of the attachment to the outcome. Yeah.
yes, and it's for every goal. It doesn't mean that you don't work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you take inspired action
Yeah.
because there's a difference with that. Because when you're like pushing and pushing and pushing, you're going against source, like. But when you're flowing, there's a difference in your action. Like you can feel that difference. You can see that difference. And people can feel it around you. Like
Yes.
this person is just flowing. And they embrace that, they go on that frequency as well. They start, oh yeah, I can do that. Like without knowing, like because if you research has shown, like when you put someone in they always say like look around the 5 closest people you spend time with, and
Yes.
most likely you're the sixth one.
Mhm.
So choose your environment, like choose where you want to be. If you want to be like with positive, like minded people, spend time, even if it's online. Like for me, it's like I spend time on YouTube watching those mentors that I like, you know,
Yeah.
and that's my crowd, that's my tribe, like I tell myself that's my friends, and that's how I view it, and that's how people should review with whom they are spending time as well, because it affects in a way their frequency. And if you want to be on your own and just let God in, that's okay as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong, because there are so many angels you can be friends with, and I'm sure there are so many angels or archangels or whatever you believe in or surrounding you, like spirit is surrounding you. Even the tree could be your friend. Like you don't know. Yeah,
The tree is our friend.
it is. It is. And I always tell people like go and hug a tree, and they look at me and I'm like, oh no, what people would think about it. And I was like, what will they say? Like maybe you will end up on YouTube. That's the worst that can happen. Maybe they can laugh at you or something. But recently I've been to a Tai Chi class, and there's an exercise in there where you do like a tree hugging, but
Mm,
it's about grounding yourself. And that's what people don't recognize. When you're hugging a tree, for example, you're actually grounding yourself. You can do one exercise, one simple, I tell people is like, if you're hugging a tree, feel that Mother Gaia is absorbing your negative energy. It's sorry, it's getting recycled to the core, in the core of Mother Earth, coming back to you, and then refreshing you. And don't worry about Mother Gaia. Like she knows how to recycle our energy. She has been recycling for years and years and years and millions of years. she knows how to take care of us. And that's a simple exercise, but people feel, oh no, what will people think about me
Mhm.
if I go?
Gives them
And I say,
permission to do the same thing. And you
yeah,
feel that life force energy, and it's a beautiful energy exchange that happens there. You know.
mhm,
Mhm.
yeah. And I say, okay, if you don't want to go out, make as if you're hugging a tree.
Yeah.
And it like in the Tai Chi exercise was like this. We make as if, but everyone was looking around and was like, oh, okay, what? Like how to do that? Like because they never hug a tree, and I was like, I was hugging like the biggest tree ever.
Yeah.
Like when I came to New Zealand, that's what I used to do: go
Mm.
in the parks and hug a tree, and it doesn't matter because I didn't care. I still do that, and there's nothing wrong with that
Yes.
because recycling for me, it's like recycling my energy and connecting with Mother Gaia. You know?
Yes. There's a move in Qigong as well called embracing the tree, and it's literally called that. Practice. And it's grounding and strengthening and centering and really being in your power, and
Yes,
standing
yes,
there, embracing the tree. Yeah,
yeah.
really feeling into that. So we've been talking your topic about embracing your light and about letting God in. And I love that because something that one of my mentors shared with me many years ago was the acronym for light being living in God's highest truth.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about embracing the tree and also embracing
Yeah.
life. It's really embracing life, embracing our power, embracing
Mm,
our sovereignty, and our human experience. As
mm,
we've been talking, like nothing comes to us that we can't handle. So, really embracing our capacity to hold all of it, our spiritual
mm.
sovereignty, our human experience, the darkness and the light, as to not cast shadows, right? And then get into doing all the shadow work, right? Because,
Yes, yes,
trying to block, certain things and creating those shadows. But like you say, opening up to all of the experiences and learning from that. Where can we improve? What is our next step that keeps us moving forward, but doesn't overwhelm us because it's the next safe step that we can take that we consciously choose, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And also, something came up while you were sharing is like sometimes people ask themselves like, am I worthy of that light? Am
Mm,
I, can I, like, is it meant for me or it's not? Like maybe God is wrong, like, and about their gift. It's like, no, no, it can't be me. Like I see that in many people as well. And I used to see that in myself as well when like when you started, you said that ability to listen. I used to deny that,
mm,
but now I embrace it, and there's so much difference. And I feel like that worthy, like feeling like worthy as well of that light. And sometimes we're scared of that higher power, like, oh, I will become like too powerful.
mm-hmm.
There's never too powerful because when you let God or spirit, however you call it, in, you will always remain like that humble, like, and like humble in terms of the society, but
Yes.
within you will embrace that calmness, that, like people will be attracted to you. Like they will just navigate to you, like they will just come straight to you, and they feel it like without they knowing. They don't need to read like so many spiritual books to know about it, because you can walk in a room and people, without practicing any technique, you just know if someone is feeling sad, angry, or someone wants to punch someone. Yeah, or someone is like happy. Because even when you go like on a children's playground, you see the kids, every parents know that. They just feel it. But even when you walk in a room, you know it. And
Mhm.
it's just like you can recognize other energy, people can recognize your energy as well. They can feel it, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. True. That's what's important about being able to maintain a good vibration, a high vibration, the frequency, noticing the places you put yourself in, the people you surround yourself in, the beliefs, thoughts you tell yourself too. I find all of that so important, so essential for living our best life and showing up as the best version of ourselves.
Mm.
So, how can people connect with you, Deva, to feel your energy, to recognize their own and their power and feel comfortable with who they are and be in their power? What are the ways that you support them and how would people connect with you?
Um, for me, like I said, I first we work on that negative side, like go deep within, like what what are the things you don't like at the moment? What are the things you don't want? And then we start embracing using their words. I like to listen to how they language because like for me I can use God or universe, but they can call it another name. Like they can call it Buddha or Jesus or whatever it is. And I like to see how people language it. And then we start working on that, like how you can language it in your own way and working like maybe on affirmation or like a meditation. But for me, it's like the meditation can be really simple. You can do like a even like washing your dishes. You know, like people say they don't have time. Just washing your dishes, it's like cleaning your aura. In a way, it's like cleaning your inner self. Because like for me, like moms, especially, they say they don't have time, and I say, do you have time to take a shower, for example? And they say, yes, of course. And I'm like, if you take that 1 minute during that shower, when you feel that water going onto you, and you feel it's cleansing all that tension, all the babies cry, or the children's shouting, yelling, all the tension that build up, all that doubt as a mom maybe that you're having or something, and it's cleansing away and it's going through the drain, how would that feel for you?
Mm,
And just by visualizing that, I feel that people automatically, like when they go in their shower, they just do that. And that's meditation
yeah.
because you're just focusing on that moment. And people feel like you need to sit in that lotus pose and just do meditation. Yes, it's highly recommended. But if you say you don't have time,
Mhm.
well, the shower or washing the dishes can do that. And then I ask them, what do they understand by life? What do they understand by being like that higher power, by connecting with the higher power? And even if they don't believe in that, I ask about them. What do you believe at the moment right now? But where do you want to see yourself? Like maybe in 1 year or 5 years, and then work towards that vision. And what are the qualities you need that? What do you need to work on? And that's briefly how I go into it. Like I just take them on that hero journey where you need to face the challenges first.
Mm,
There's no point in running away because if you keep running away from it, the universe will have a way to send it back to you until it's a bang on your head that you get it, that you understand the lesson. So
yeah.
that's why we need to dig deep, face the challenge, accept the challenge, take on the challenge, and then we face it and we move on to the next one, to the next one, so that you become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The fear to face everything and rise.
Yes.
Yes.
And
How people
people
connect.
can,
Mhm.
sorry.
How do people connect with you?
Oh, yes. People can connect with me like through Facebook or Instagram as well. And I'm pretty sure you will send my link as well. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I have my Facebook page called The Heroes Mystic, and they can like and follow. There are updates coming soon as well that I will be starting to update more now. And through my Instagram page, which is connected to the Facebook page as well. And feel free like to ask any question. Normally, to anyone listening or watching, like they can get a free 30-minute consultation, like just to get to know what they want to work on, and then we can go from there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for offering that. And absolutely, we're going to have all of those links in the show notes here for everyone to just click into and access that free 30-minute session and see what he's up to on Facebook and Instagram and so on, and lots of insights and inspiration and things that can spark the motivation to take that next step forward. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Deva. It's been such an honor having you join us today.
Thank you, Jennifer, for having me, and thank you to the audience. Whoever is listening at any point in time, I think you will listen it at the right time.
Yes, absolutely. And I ditto that. Thank you so much for each and every one of you that have been tuning in. So grateful that you're part of this community. And we will see you again next time on Awaken and Ascend. Bye for now.